Hallo miteinander, I'm Gesh86, and this is
Ghost Hunter Reimu.
Yes, a game that doesn't need me to introduce itself, it can do so on its own. Ghost Hunter Reimu is the currently most recent title of the circle BlueMica. BlueMica has made a few well-received games, but I've not heard many people talk about Ghost Hunter Reimu, even though it has a lot going for it. We'll find out what its strengths are during the course of our Let's Play. I've gone ahead and already prepared a fresh empty file that we are going to use for a new game as Reimu Hakure. We'll also politely decline the easier light mode. So, as you can see, Ghost Hunter Reimu is still untranslated, but I did again what I have already done for the Tenjo no Tempest Let's Play and asked around of how this story unfolds, so that I can pass it on to you. Our tale begins one summer with a slothful Reimu complaining about how hot it is, when it's really not all that hot. Yomo arrives and scolds the Shrine Maiden for her yammering, arguing that no one else feels weighed down by the weather, including herself. With what Yomo is wearing, I don't think she'll be sweating in any kind of weather. Just a thought, I am not criticizing. Oh no. I'll admit it, Yomo's and another character's redesign were the main cause of what made me get this game. A good friend of mine was really hyped for it too. That also influenced my decision. Anyway, Yomo did not come here only to give a lecture. She has a message from her lady to deliver. She hands the letter containing it to Reimu, but can't tell us anything about it, as she is a proper and discreet servant and hasn't been so nosy as to open it herself. Her errand completed, Yomo leaves again. What could this curious letter say? Reimu isn't confident it could be anything worthwhile, but we'll know once she puts that oversized letter opener of hers to work. It reads, "Come at night." Sounds a bit like a date to me, but this isn't one of those games. It is not implied. Reimu is very annoyed by how brief and uninformative this letter was, and thinks Yomo should have just told her this. Reluctantly, Reimu decides to take up the invitation anyway, saying that at least after nightfall it won't be as hot anymore. As blazingly hot as she pretends it to be. Alright, we are in control, but not for very long. Reimu still has some more thoughts to share with us. From here, Hakugyokuro seems to be in disarray. The normally peaceful underworld is swarming with free-roaming spirits. Furthermore, there is an oppressive evilness in the air. I guess there was a good reason Reimu got that letter after all, for she is not just any shrine maiden, but also an experienced exorcist, a ghost hunter, if you want. Our investigation finally starts. Controls are simple and the standard of most 2D games so far. We do have two weapons. Magical energy bolts are one of them, the other, the sword from Reimu's artwork. I'm unsure what Japanese swords of that small size are called, not katana. It's either a tanto or a wakizashi. No matter, in short, we go around blasting and stabbing things. Enemies like these small ghosts here often appear out of nowhere once you've stepped into a certain spot. It is a big part of the game, and it makes sense for scary ghosts to try and ambush us in that way. But now they are gone, and we can leave the area through the exit doors on the very right. Another cutscene awaits here, in which Reimu worries how aggressive and vengeful these ghosts were. Again, not how things should be. Let's go over our HUD. There's a lot of elements on the lower edge of the screen, and not all of them may be self-explanatory. Far to the left, we have an HP and MP bar. we have all of our 5 total hit points right now. There are ways to increase both bars' maximums, but not on the fly, of course. Our MP are used for spells, but the only one we have right now, the magic energy bolts, cost 0 MP, so we don't have to worry about those yet. Said bolts are represented by a small symbol above our hit points, next to the word spell. More symbols will appear there once we have the spells available and equipped. On the very lower left is also a faint, currently barely filled purple bar. That is our ghost gauge. On the very right is another bar which looks a bit like a measuring ruler. That is our corruption meter. Explaining what the ghost gauge and corruption meter do right now without any context wouldn't make much sense. Just keep their existence in mind for now and know that they are very, very important. The number above our corruption meter stands for the value of red souls we've collected, a sort of currency. Just above the souls, we have another symbol with the number 3 in it. That is our current consumable. It means we are carrying 3 small health potions. That's it for most of our HUD. We'll talk about what's missing in a few moments, as we've got another cutscene at hand. Getting ever so closer to the mansion, Reimu feels the unusual atmosphere of the place again, and wonders if Yuyuko might be pulling a prank on her. That's an understandable concern to have. The Queen of the Netherworld didn't exactly put on her best behavior during the story of Touhou 7, Perfect Cherry Blossom. She was quite immature then, shameful for nobility. We've just destroyed an object up there, which awarded us a 4th yellow star in the lower right of the screen. That was a Netherworld seal, and the star is for destroying all of them in a section. Killing all enemies in a section, on the other hand, will give you a red star. Not only that, it will also make gigantic screen-covering letters appear. We've already seen them before, remember? These ones. There's something very satisfying about seeing them, with how loud and in your face they are. We've left the forest behind us and just entered the main complex of Hakugyokuro. This would be the 5th section of the stage. The 4 red and yellow blinking stars in the lower right mean that we've gotten rid of the enemy population and Netherworld seals of all previous sections. Gathering all these optional blinking stars is the road to full completion of this game. Once you've gotten everything in a level, you'll be awarded in-game achievements. Obviously, we'll be aiming for 100%ing Reimu mode for our Let's Play. Even if one doesn't care about achievements, I know a lot of people are sick and tired of them, destroying all enemies in a section is a smart thing to do regardless, for as you just saw, a lot of souls spawn whenever you do. Next section, it's getting steadily more dangerous, but with how early we still are in Ghost Hunter Reimu, it's of course not too tough yet. The stage we are in can in fact be considered the tutorial or intro stage. One thing that might have caught your eye, there's a red circle around Reimu's waistline. It is our hitbox, and there is a button to toggle its visibility on and off. Only the torso region of Reimu is vulnerable, so if you were worried the comically large head of her sprite would get you hurt, it won't. That attack just went straight through it. The hitbox button would be F1 on a keyboard by default. Whether you have need of it or you don't is totally up to you. It's not a super essential function in my opinion. Just be aware that you always have it. In an actual shoot 'em up like the official Touhou games, where there's a lot of in-between weaving of bullets and hazards, I would always argue a visible hitbox is helpful, but Ghost Hunter Reimu is a platformer, only with Danmaku influences. The following section would fill out the final star in the lower right corner. Such a last section will always be a boss chamber, with usually barely anything else but that boss in it. A few more steps and we stumble upon a life-size doll. Reimu feels the same evil presence from before concentrated on this doll, and knowing danger is afoot, readies herself for battle. Our first boss is the easiest of the game. It's what you would expect, and how it should be. A long health bar has appeared on top of the screen, but this one will diminish quickly. Our opponent has very simple tells. If it turns towards Reimu after stopping, it'll fire some aimed bullets. If it turns to the front, it'll instead slash to both sides. Simply observing this will make it easy to get into a good rhythm. Even novice players shouldn't be slowed down much by this encounter. It is not a big challenge. As victorious as she may be, Reimu worries how such an inanimate object was given a mind of its own. Nonetheless, we must set this mystery aside and venture forth. Forth to the stage select screen. We'll choose our destination in another video. I'm Gash86, this was Ghost Hunter Reimu, and next time we'll sell our soul for some sweet upgrades. Bis bald!